Salvete omnes! Welcome back to Land and Sea, this time section 2, which is a continuation of Pliny's correspondence with Trajan. This time he is sending a letter to him just after he has actually arrived in his province. Obviously this is a video, I will go quite fast, you will need to pause, stop, rewind, etc. Hopefully the volume's a little bit better. Gaius Plinius to the Emperor Trajan. As much as I experienced, worth noting, expertus, obviously giving us the word expert, could here be expertusum, a perfect passive verb, or a perfect passive participle having experience, because it's a deponent verb. In any case, as much as I experienced, a very healthy, literally, but obviously therefore favourable, voyage master, as far as Ephesus. From there, after I began to make the journey in carriages, remember that iter, which is on the GCSE vocab list, is third declension neuter, so here is actually accusative. Troubled to the same extent by very burdensome heat and even little fevers, or small feverish attacks, I think I've seen in one translation, I put in at Pergamum. There'll be a map and a couple of slides, so it makes sense where everything's going. So here, the emphasis is on sicut and iter. So as much as the journey was good beforehand, after that, that was how difficult it was. The two superlatives obviously balance that out quite nicely as well. He is not... apologetic is the wrong way of phrasing this. He has been given a job by the Emperor who expects regular reports. Remember, they're friendly, but they're not really friends in the sense of you and your mates. So the Emperor is going to expect regular reports. This is what Pliny is doing. He's taken longer than expected to get to his province, so he needs to send a report to explain what's happened and why. He has been delayed by the very poor weather. He's not having a fun time. So, map. Pontus and Bithynia is the province we are going to, for some reason in pink. Ephesus is the first one mentioned. He's now gone up to Pergamum, partially by carriage, partially... Yes, entirely by carriage, in fact. So he's gone up to Pergamum by carriage. We are then going to get how he goes around to Prose and actually entering his province as such. So that's the kind of route that he is taking. Again, when I had transferred into or to... Well, now Koulas means small boats, and Horarius of basically coastal, so into small coastal boats. Cum transissem is a cum clause, where cum does not mean with, it means when, since, or although. If you haven't done that yet, you will. Having been held back, literally, as a perfect passive participle, by contrary winds. Again, we had this in the first letter, if you remember. He is giving explanations as to why his journey has been poor. I entered Bithynia somewhat later than I had hoped. That is, 15 days before the calends of October. Roman dates are slightly weird. The calends are the first day of the month, obviously given there's the word calendar. The nones, related to the word nonagon, for example, are the 9th day of the month, and the Ides are the 15th, where the Ides of March are probably the famous one, and that's where Caesar gets stabbed rather too many times by friends. So, this is, again, Pliny making clear as to why he has been slower than he would have liked. Firstly, by sort of bad weather and fever. Secondly, by poor winds. Speaking of the boats, I did way too much research on this. This is probably what he was sailing / rowing in. This is an Actuarius, which is one of the smaller boats, just designed for small coastal journeying and shipping. Relatively fast, just because it's small. Only has a single rank of oars, however, and one sail. So if there's a bad wind, they can't use the sail, they have to just row, and that will be very slow. Annoyingly, this has some soldiers on. Pliny would have had some soldiers, to be fair. He would have had a relatively small staff. Again, arguments about how much that actually means, but probably less than 100 as a guess. You might also be thinking, well, why didn't he just go sort of straight across? Mountains. Mountains is why. Turkey is fairly mountainous, as you can see. Most of the cities of Asia Minor are all along the coast here, just because it's easier to trade. So going directly across, you'd have to go over some fairly tall mountains. So he does not. He mostly goes along the coast, just because it's a lot easier and a lot faster. However, I am not able, or I cannot, to complain about the delay, since it gave me the opportunity, is how I've translated this. Technically speaking, it happened for me. Since it gave me the opportunity to celebrate your birthday in the province, which was very auspicious, which was most auspicious. Auspicious, if you do not know, is a word basically meaning favourable or lucky, coming from a Latin word to do with telling of the future, auspex. Now I am shaking out or examining the expenses, the revenues, and the debtors of the people of Prusenia. Obviously some technical vocabulary here about taxation. Pliny is putting his best foot forward in his letter to the emperor and very much representing himself as getting out there and sorting out the problem, really shaking up the place. Literally shaking up the place. I am understanding more and more from this very treatment, is how I've translated tractatu. Technically speaking, tractatu comes from the word trahor, meaning I drag. So the image is of him dragging the truth out. That, brackets, it is necessary. I've translated this as an indirect statement, similar to in section 1. It works this way quite nicely. For much monies, very archaic in English, so for a lot of money is being held back on, or literally out of, but on various causes or reasons by individuals. Moreover, some are being paid out, or is being paid out, because money doesn't really work in the plural, so moreover, some is being paid out for not at all legitimate costs. Minime is the superlative adverb, so very smallly, very littly, so not at all is quite a nice translation there. Legitimate, duh. Sumptuous is a nice English word, basically meaning extravagant or costly. I have literally I wrote these things to you, master, in the, well, I've been translated ipso as very, in the entrance itself, but the very beginning, or my very beginning, but I quite like the translation, in the very beginning of my, brackets, governorship, makes it clear as to what is going on. As I say here, technically speaking, governor is a bit of a strong word, but moving on. And that is section 2. Pliny has been quick to explain why he has been slow getting there, and also to emphasize that as soon as he's getting there, he is getting on with the job, he is sorting out the problems. Hopefully this helped. Thank you very much.